Faced, my name is Kefa Mwirore. We have in the past 3 weeks been looking at the ban on plastic bags, focusing on the science behind the ban and the political and economic implications arising from the ban. Today, we look at the previous 3 episodes as we wrap up Green Faced. Let's get started. In science, we delved on the principles governing the rationale for NEMA's move to end the use of plastic bags in the country. Here are some of the responses we gathered from the members of public as to why they deemed the ban as a necessity.
I think plastic bags were banned because they are not biodegradable.
These plastic bags have caused us harm than benefit.
I think plastic bags were banned because they cause very many hazardous effects to the environment.
I think they banned plastic bags because it's an environmental threat.
From our experts, we were able to get a deeper understanding onto why the ban on plastic bags was necessary. Here is a highlight from our findings.
These bags are not degradable. So if there was a paper that got into the soil or into the environment in the 80s, you're likely to find it there if you dig it up. So they find the paper bags or the plastic finds its way into our environment, whether in the garbage heaps or on the land, in the soil. So start right from home, where you find paper bags hanging on our fences, on our flower beds, on the farm. That in itself is pollution.
As the human population has been increasing, the environment has experienced some very many negative impacts over the period of time due to the human population increase. Apparently our increase and our development activities are directly affecting the environment.
From our hard-hitting interview, we gathered more as to why the use of plastic bags on the environment is an unnecessary evil. So I'm now joined by Njoki Ngugi, an environmental conservationist expert and a student here at Desa University. And first, Njoki, I'm sure you're well aware of the ban on plastic bags. And I assume being an environmentalist, you obviously liked the decision to ban plastic bags, but just talk us through how you felt.
It was overdue, but it was an amazing decision that Kenyan made, and I'm very proud of the steps that we're taking towards taking care of our environment.
I had a look at the NEMA press statement given and looked at some of the consequences given there of our use of plastic bags.
Yes.
And some of them are ridiculous. So how can you say like littering? I mean, is littering an issue on plastic bags or as human beings?
It's actually on both, because if you do not give the human being something to litter, then there will be no littering at all. So it's a two-way traffic. We as human beings have to learn that littering is not a good practice, and it has its own consequences on the environment and on our yields and on the structure of how we live. But also we need to understand that whatever we litter, like, it has certain consequences. If you litter a banana peel, it's biodegradable, then it's going to have good consequences onto the soil. But if you litter a plastic bag, if you litter a plastic bottle, then you're just making it look untidy.
So you just mentioned plastic bottles. Why then leave plastic bottles and we go for the bags? Why don't have an overhaul ban on plastic items then?
One thing is, when you look at a plastic bottle, like, it has the recycling and the reusing option. But for plastic bags, it was very rare, and plastic bags were just a norm. It will be very hard to find a person buying everyday soda for 70 shillings, like 3 times, or water for 100 bob. So it's easier to ban the plastic bags first, then go to find an alternative for plastic bottles.
So you're actually suggesting another ban?
Yes,
to come?
More bans to come.
I've looked at the replacement for plastic bags and noticed that they're actually hefty, they're big in size. And when I looked at one of the consequences of plastic bags is blocking drainages, and I've seen those, they look actually like gunias. And I don't think they're any better to plastic bags. So how can you say on that?
Let me answer your question with a question. Do you throw away the gunias at home? They're always
Sometimes we
kept.
do.
They're
Sometimes we
always
do,
kept.
especially when they are old.
When they're old,
We
yes.
actually do that.
They're always kept for future use. Like they can be reused again. So these big bags there's an option. You can buy the big bag, you can buy the small bag. So if you buy the big bag, then you're doing a lot of shopping. So you don't have to throw it because you'll only use it when you're going for shopping, which is like once a month or once in 3 weeks. So it's reusing. We're encouraging the fact of reusing things. And then when they get old, don't just throw them. Now that is where people need to learn. When they get old, use them for something else.
So you mentioned on the concept of reusing and recycling. How about to teach people, other than take away a whole industry of plastic bags? Because most plants who choose to manufacture plastic bags have had to close.
Yeah.
Then other than ban the plastic bags, how about to teach people how to recycle, how to reuse, how to use the alternatives without taking away what is already there?
It has been there. I was taught how to recycle and reuse back in primary school. So it's just our mentality that we don't want to accept it because it's the white kind of lifestyle. We do not want to accept it ourselves as Africans.
So changing our mentality and bringing back the plastic bags, is that a good thing?
No, that is a bad idea, a very bad idea.
Now moving on to the bigger picture, which is climate change. First, we confront the issue climate change. Is it a real issue?
Yes.
Okay. But I've seen scientists in certain communities come out and denounce what their counterparts are saying.
In certain communities, right?
Yeah.
So let me tell you, scientists tend to be divided in a way. There are those who are going to please the people, and there are those who are going to state facts. They do not care what the comment will be. They do not care the feedback at all. So they will state it as it is, and that's.
So you are claiming there's failing on your part as scientists?
Not all. It depends on what you really want. If you really want a change in the environment, then you're going to state the facts. You'll not lean towards the people just to suit them. So there is a fail in our part.
So a part in short for someone watching out there, what would be your last words?
I'd say take care of the environment, and the environment will take care of you.
Up next, we highlight our politics episode. After this short commercial break, we will be right back.
That's it. Time's up. Too late. I can't accept your paper.
Do you know who this girl is?
No, but I know she has failed.
Get your fresh in a brand new pack with long-lasting freshness and flavor. Fresh. Freedom to be you.
Getting caught with a plastic bag would land you in jail for 4 years or force you to part with up to 4 million Kenyan shillings. Or worst case scenario, both. Here are some of Kenyans' feelings towards the sanctions handed down by NEMA.
When you give somebody a bigger fine, it's even bigger than the business person has the worth of the business. So that's more like torture to somebody.
For me, that is very crazy. Yani, it's unbelievable.
I grew up in a nation where it's prohibited to litter. So it was never really an issue for me.
Trying to imagine nifungwe for 4 years, that is so ridiculous. 4 years and then like the penalty is so huge and ambiguous.
We put our experts on the spot over the necessity of the ban. Here is what they had to say.
Well, I think you would have different perspectives to that, because I think different people had different impacts or different reactions to that ban. There are people who are manufacturers of those plastic bags, so of course the impact on them would be different from the users of those plastic bags. There's another category of people who actually were selling those plastic bags. So you would think about manufacturers as losing business, sellers as also losing business. The users, a level of inconvenience, a bit more of cost incurred in terms of like if you go to a supermarket, you're given goods packed, wrapped up in the plastic bags. Now you have to buy. So there's a cost implication to now the use of whatever alternative bags that people would then need to use.
The thing is, if they ever implement, I'm not sure, I've never heard whether it has been implemented, but if they implement that harshness, they would only get the low income people. That's the problem I'm saying. They won't get the big fish because the big fish are putting major big things in big plastic bags. Nobody's arresting them for that. This morning, as I was driving, I saw someone. They had put must be a refrigerator, and in a big plastic bag. And I was looking at it and not realizing that this is a plastic bag, but it is a plastic bag. And the police are there, and nobody's bothered. But if I was carrying a black plastic bag with maybe 2 mangoes in it, I would have gone in today. That's the irony of such decisions.
I sat down with Mr. Simeon Onderi for an interview and questioned his rationale for supporting the implementation of the ban. Onderi, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, sir.
So as much as people have spoken a lot about the ban, what it is and what is not, to you, how do you see the ban?
First things first, I think that the ban came at a very good time. The country was going through a whole lot of problems. Plastic bags have been a really big problem in our country, and we can see it from the drainage. First things first, the drainages are being blocked. The environment is being polluted, thus soil fertility is getting lost. A lot of things are happening in this country.
And moving away from the ban, I would like to focus on the sanctions given. To me, they seem draconian and harsh. You know, fining an average Kenyan 4 million shillings, sending him to jail for 4 years. For such I would call it a petty offense.
Let me tell you,
to that,
yeah. you can walk to places like Mathare and you see the amount of plastic paper bags that are there. And someone else who doesn't live there is producing those paper bags, and they don't even know the effect that is on the people who are living in those areas. Mathare, Huruma, Kibera, those places are filled with plastic bags. The ban came at a good time, and I like the sanctions that have been put on the plastic bags.
Yeah. Sorry to cut you, mentioned the people from Mathare, Huruma, and these areas.
Yeah.
Now moving away from the manufacturing, let's say it's such a person earning low wages, trying to make it through life. You catch him with a plastic bag and give him the same punishment as the one you're giving to the manufacturer. Is that still fair?
Let me tell you, first things first, when you're caught and you're from those areas, they won't deal with you immediately. They look for the source where you got the plastic paper bags. Obviously, people were given a time to deal with the issue of plastic bags. They were given, if I'm not wrong, it was 6 months, right?
Yes.
Yeah, they were given 6 months. So after 6 months, if you're caught with plastic paper bags, then the law has to be placed on you. There is no other way. So
was the period enough?
Yeah, it was.
For things we've used for years and years and years, just give us 6 months.
It was really, it was enough. Actually, they could even have given them 4 months, because we need to do away with this problem. Like, it's been a really big problem in the country, and we need to do away with it really quick. You see, so the time period they were given, I think it was the best time for the manufacturers to find something else to do if they were to produce other means that is not plastic bags, and for people to find other ways of carrying their goods from the market. So 6 months was a really good time.
I assume you would have cut the period to maybe even 3 months.
Even 3 months, you you hasten the process. Yeah, to 3 months.
And now moving on to my next question. The ban is now on. The next thing is implementation. I've not so far heard of anyone who's been handed down the same punishment for being caught, but do you think it's something possible to hand down someone such a fine or such a sentence?
Let me tell you, it boils down to the manufacturers. If you do away with the manufacturers, obviously the people in the streets won't manufacture their own plastic bags. So if you deal with the manufacturers, then the normal Kenyans will find other ways. You're finding other means to deal with it. Newspapers, they are biodegradable. They can be recycled, or anything can be done to them. But now plastic paper bags, they can't be recycled, you see.
Yeah.
So at least I like the way Kenyans have responded to the issue, and they're dealing with the issue slowly by slowly. When you give the manufacturers the 4 million ban, then they'll know what to do with that.
What about police bribery? Our officers have been said you can pay them off.
If you can pay them, let me tell you one thing. You've dealt with the manufacturers, right? Yes. Even if you come down to the police, even if you pay them after 6 months, what will they get? They can't get nothing.
As we wind up, they've been suggested that they want now to aim at the plastic bottles. And for you, what else do you think we should ban to keep our environment?
We should ban a lot of things like the plastic bottles. The plastic bottles, they should be done away with because they're not different from the plastic bags.
So for those people who are concerned about jobs and everything, what maybe would you tell them as we wind up?
There are other jobs out there. It's not, you can't focus that you'll do production of plastic paper bags for the rest of your life, or things like how will you pack things for your customers. There are other ways to do things outside there, and I urge Kenyans to move to the other ways instead of just relying on the paper bags for their life. It's something that will help them later in life, and they should just focus on that.
So Mr. Simeon Onderi, thank you so much.
You're a real beauty. Oppo F5. Capture the real you. Oppo Selfie Expert.
Welcome back to the program. After indulging into the scientific and political principles involved in invoking the ban on plastic bags, we finally looked at the economics of plastic bags manufacturing with the aim of establishing whether the ban was good or evil for businesses. Since the ban, Kenyans have had to invent new ways of carrying commodities. Here are some of the ingenious methods they used.
When you give somebody a bigger fine, it's even bigger than the business person has the worth of the business. So that's more like torture to somebody.
For me, that is very crazy. Yani, it's unbelievable.
I grew up in a nation where it's prohibited to litter. So it was never really an issue for me.
Trying to imagine nifungwe for 4 years, that is so ridiculous. 4 years and then like the penalty is so huge and ambiguous.
Bad or good for business? Our experts were swift to offer their opinions on the impact the ban had had on business enterprises and to the economy at large.
Banning plastic bags does not mean that we have blocked employment or we have stopped packaging. It only means that we have to reinvent the way we package our goods. And if we reinvent it, we will still have jobs created in that area of packaging because goods still will have to be packaged. The other side of it is that it is making citizens more cautious, and actually we have reduced on the cost of packaging. When I buy a package for myself, I will not use it once and throw it away the way we used to do. In the past, I knew I did not even need to buy any packaging for myself. I go to the supermarket, it is packaged in so many plastic bags. When I come with them at home, they look so useless that it is so easy to throw them away. But now the packages we have today, we don't throw them away. When it is no longer usable, it can be recycled. And probably before it is recycled, it is used so many times. So at the end of the day, the immediate impact, some people may lose their jobs, some people may lose their businesses, but the long-term impact is that it will be more beneficial than harmful.
Jobs will be lost. Now, but not that withstanding, there will also be benefits. These plastic bags, the materials don't come locally from here. We were importing them. So to some extent, we'll also be able to save on foreign exchange.
In our interview segment, we profiled a man engaging in the reusing and repurposing business where he took waste products and turned them into valuable products. How is the business doing? Here's a look back at the interview. I've found an interesting topic on style and sustainability, and I've just found the right person to talk to this. And he is the co-founder and designer at Solve Kenya, and what he does is upcycling, which is takes raw materials, what you would regard as old clothes and useless, and takes it and turns it to gold. So, Mr. Awale, welcome to the program. Thank you so much. Yeah, I was just researching around because you've done quite plenty of interviews, and just found the meaning of Sov. Charming, confident, elegant. Do you describe yourself as such?
Personally, I'd say not so much, but the brand, yes. We make sure that it is true to whatever it stands for. So it being sophisticated, urban, and elegant, and all that. So basically, the whole essence is turning waste into gold, and that just oozes sophistication. The end product really does that.
What was your inspiration to start Sov? Okay.
First of all, it was my love for business. I just love startups or just having my own business at some point. So Sov just came about because it was my passion in bags. I loved bags and leather materials and leather items. So that coupled with my passion for business is what really emphasized or made me do it.
And I was taking a look at your background story. You actually had a 9-to-5 job, what some of us are actually in, and you actually left that and decided to start this up, and now it's a success. But how was the journey?
First of all, leaving my job was really easy because I really did not picture myself as a 9-to-5 person. So at some point I really had to jump into it. And when I got that chance with the brand, because what I did is I started the brand and was working at the same time. So I'd go to work, I'd come to the workshop, go to work, then come back to the workshop and then go home. So I did that for a couple of months until I got to a point where working my 9-to-5 job didn't really make sense. So that's when I jumped over.
Something on how the brand has grown, and we have found even people like notable figures like Lupita Nyong'o rocking some of your items. And how do you handle this attention?
We've learned how to. It actually surprises us, and then we are as surprised as everyone else when people like notable figures like Lupita would really want or would love wearing our bag. I'd say we've not really wrapped our heads around it. We just make our bags for people. We love our bags, and then we hope people would love them also. So having someone like Lupita really emphasizes that it is a really good product out there that we're putting out.
I've noticed the business is not just here in Kenya or Africa, but you actually could ship even in Europe. And just how did that come about?
So all this, that's the beauty of social media. So our products just being on social media, Facebook, Instagram, having our social media pages directs a lot of traffic from all over the world. So I think anyone from anywhere in the world can get to see the products. And then we've made our website in such a way that you can buy from the website directly. So we have orders from all over. And then before that, we had one of our videos going viral on Facebook. And that was one of the things that contributed to our success outside the country, and which has been really positive.
I had a look at the bags you had inside, and none of the bags resembles another.
Yes.
And how hard is it to achieve this?
So to be honest, it's not that hard because we're using second-hand material, and then it's quite easy to be getting different kinds of material. So depending on whatever clothes and fabrics we get from the market, all of them are different in their own way. So we ensure that also continues, and then just add a little touch that makes it maybe local or kind of African to it. So that ensures that all the bags are still different.
We've seen at least several startups in Kenya. And is it from the care of the environment, or is it that people just find the raw materials accessible, like recyclable materials accessible? Do you still care for the environment, like for you?
People really need to follow up and need to be more conscious about the whole sustainable fashion, because it really impacts the environment. Maybe you might not know about it, or people might not know about it, but whatever waste would maybe end up clogging a sewage somewhere would end up just harming the environment in one way or other. So people need to be more aware of that, I think.
Thank you so much. So that has been Mr. Mohamed Awale. He's the founder of Sov Kenya, and I'm sure you've been intrigued. So next time when you look at that pair of jeans in your closet and you think this is waste, realize that there's opportunity even in such things. Throughout the course of the series, our hyperlocal reporters showed us contrasting responses from Kenyans concerning their opinions on the ban. Here's a look back at these compilations of the reports back to back.
Blue skies, it's amazing. There are no clouds. The plantation is green compared to other Januaries where the plantation is brown and it's too dusty. Today is a bit windy and the plantation is green. But let's look at climate change from a few people. Let's start with Lady Betty.
I believe climate change is real. Looking at how the environment looks right now, we have green plants, and this means that we had rain in the recent past. And by saying that, we mean we have now different seasons as to what we used to have when we were younger. We know rain would come in April, in August, and in January we would definitely have very, very hot weather. But nowadays anything happens anytime. It's very unpredictable, meaning that we have had climate change over time. So I believe it's real.
Oh, that's amazing. Childhood was amazing, especially the rainy seasons. We would play, in the rain. There were some, let's continue with Jojo.
I do believe it's real. Last year, I started following this page on Twitter, and they posted a video showing the time difference, the icebergs, how with time they have melted away. You can see the difference in the size, yeah? So I do believe it's real, yeah, because they showed time difference between the 1990s to, I think, 2016, yeah? And you can see there's a great change in the size of the icebergs. Yeah, it shows whatever we do here or anywhere else in the world affects somewhere as far as the North Pole. Yeah, I do believe it's real.
Wow. Icebergs. I should go back to books. Thank you for watching.
Well, I think the ban on plastic bags has been a really positive change in our lives today and to Kenya as general, because the pollution is now somewhat minimized compared to the way it was in the past. Nowadays you can't see flying paper bags around when the wind is blowing. Yeah, and I think the air that we breathe in is less polluted when they are around, because there is no banning of such paper bags. Yeah. What do you think, Winnie? Winnie, sorry. I mean, what do you think, Nancy?
I think that, it was, for me, I think that it was, the fact that it was effective, that was what I thought it would be, that they would actually make it effective. And it was a good thing because the pollution is no longer there, and so the environment is cleaner than it was before. But it would be best if the papers that are already there, that they would be cleared up.
Yeah, that's what Nancy thinks. What about you, Lillian?
Okay, I think the plastic ban was I thought it was a joke at first because they wanted to ban it before they banned it, and it didn't take effect. So I thought this time it also would have backfired, So when I saw it was effective, I was really happy because the paper bags around the CBD and our estates were too much. So I'm happy, yes.
Well, there it goes. I think people appreciate that the paper bags are no longer with us. Yeah, that.
So what's up, people? This is Adifete, as usual, as you know. So this is the question. How can someone be jailed for 4 years and being fined 4 million because of using a plastic paper bag?
I'm telling you, come now.
I think that's unfair. I think that's not realistic. Come on, government, please. We have major issues, and all you can do is jail someone for 4 years because of using paper bag. But anyway, I'm not the boss here. Let's see what people have to say about this. So here we have Mr. Freddy and Mrs. Alice, and we have Zach. So Freddy, welcome.
Thank you.
Tell me what's your opinion. What do you think about this issue?
According to me, it is very unfair, owing to the fact that as a nation we have major issues as corruptions in public funds being misused, and we've never heard of a person being jailed. So jailing somebody because of using a paper bag and the charges is being fined 4 million. To me, it's unrealistic, and I feel like the government is playing with us picky ponky, which is really not helping.
Yeah. Thank you so much. So, Mrs. Alice, Mr. Reddy, tell me, what do you think about it?
I think it's very unfair, owing to the fact that this was just introduced recently, and they should have been given a lot of time so that to abolish the using of the polythene bags. And so I think we should concentrate on more on virtual issues that are affecting our country as per now.
Yes.
So they should be released now.
Yeah.
They should be released.
Ogawa.
Yes.
So you're in the know now. You see? Jailing someone for 4 years because of using a paper bag ain't realistic. We are facing crisis in our country. Come on. Recently, girls who had 50 million, when you leave 50 million from the bank, and their story, we don't know where they are right now. So tell me, something needs to be addressed and someone needs to be disciplined. Now you're in the...
Well, I think the ban on plastic bags has been a really positive change in our lives today and to Kenya as general, because the pollution is now at somewhat minimized compared to the way it was in the past. Nowadays you can't see flying paper bags around when the wind is blowing. Yeah, and I think the air that we breathe in is less polluted when they are around, because there is no burning of such paper bags. Yeah. What do you think, Winnie? Winnie, sorry. I mean, what do you think, Nancy?
I think that, it was, for me, I think that it was, the fact that it was effective, that was what I thought it would be, that they would actually make it effective. And it was a good thing because the pollution is no longer there. And so the environment is cleaner than it was before. But it would be best if the papers that are already there, that they would be cleared up.
Yeah, that's what Nancy thinks. What about you, Lillian?
Okay, I think the plastic ban was I thought it was a joke at first because they wanted to ban it before they earned it, and it didn't take effect. So I thought this time it also would have backfired. So when I saw it was effective, I was really happy because the paper bags around the CBD and our estates were too much. So I'm happy. Yes.
Well, there it goes. I think people appreciate that the paper bags are no longer with us.
My hope is that my 3-part journey has offered you with a deeper understanding as to the impacts plastic bags can have on our environment. As you go out there, aim to conserve and take care of the environment. Always remember that we are the ones who need nature. Nature is all good without us. As Bobby Brown once said, the future will either be green or not at all. Until next time, stay green.